Today on the newscast, an investigation has barely begun, but Palestinian leader Mahmoud Abbas is already blaming Israel for the death of a Palestinian journalist. What's the real story, and why should we be highly skeptical of any accusations by Abbas? Find out next. Hey folks, Erick Stakelbeck here. Welcome to the Watchman Newscast. We have a major developing story out of Israel that we really need to unpack, because already a false narrative is being crafted by anti-Israel propagandists. Here's what we do know so far. On Wednesday, May 11th, a longtime Al Jazeera reporter named Shireen Abu Akleh was tragically shot in the head while covering an Israeli army operation to apprehend terrorists in the city of Jenin in the Palestinian territories. Now, a bit of very important background here before we continue. Over the past few weeks, at least 3 deadly terror attacks have been planned and carried out from Jenin. The attacks were part of a terror wave that has seen 19 Israeli civilians murdered since March 21st. And again, Jenin, unfortunately, has been a major launching pad for it and is a stronghold for, among others, the Iran-backed terror outfit Palestinian Islamic Jihad. That's why the IDF was there yesterday, trying to prevent further terror plots from being carried out that would lead to the brutal deaths of more Israeli men, women, and children. While in Jenin, they were attacked by terrorists, and in the midst of the ensuing firefight, Shireen Abu Akleh was killed while covering what was happening. Israeli officials have said it's still unclear what happened, and they are calling for a full joint and open investigation with the Palestinian Authority. Makes sense. Except Palestinian officials are refusing to take part. They've chosen instead to blame Israel for Akleh's death and basically frame it as an intentional assassination. Again, even before a thorough investigation has taken place, one that they refuse to participate in. Now, Akleh was Palestinian, and at her funeral today, Palestinian Authority President Mahmoud Abbas only fanned the flames further. He said Israel was responsible for her death and that, quote, this crime cannot go unpunished. He says he's going to take the case to the International Criminal Court, but there's also the chance that his rhetoric will help incite further terror against Israel. At the same time, and this is a key point, Abbas and the Palestinians are refusing to hand over the bullet that killed Shireen Abu Akleh, which would obviously help determine who exactly was responsible for her death. Now, why would they refuse to hand over the bullet and to participate in the investigation with Israel? Could it be that Abbas and his minions want to use this tragic incident as much as they can to drag Israel's name through the mud? It wouldn't be the first time. A little while back, I sat down with Itamar Marcus of Palestinian Media Watch to learn more about Palestinian Authority incitement against Israel and how it starts at the very top. Folks, you need to see this. Take a look. We're hearing again and again that Mahmoud Abbas, the Palestinian Authority, are Israel's partners for peace. But as you've shown in devastating detail, Itamar, whether it's in schools, in the media, film, music, in the Palestinian territories, this is Palestinian Authority media, by the way, is just littered with incitement and anti-Semitism. Tell us about the messaging coming out of the Palestinian Authority.
So this is critical, what you just said at the end. The messaging is coming from the Palestinian Authority. The problem is not the media. The problem is the leadership. And we use the media really as a window. And what we see is the messaging in all spheres of life. So, for example, you mentioned the school books and Ministry of Education. We're releasing a report now on the names of Palestinian schools. Just in the names, there are 32 schools named after terrorists, most of them mass murderers. We've got 3 schools named after Nazi collaborators and close to 30 additional schools named after various martyrs or the martyrs of. 5 different schools is named for a female terrorist named Dalal Mughrabi. Dalal Mughrabi hijacked a bus with other terrorists. 37 Israelis were killed, 12 of them children, and then named 5 schools for her.
And she's being lionized and glorified in the Palestinian territories.
Exactly, by the leadership, and it's the Ministry of Education that names the schools. There are another 5 schools named after a person named Abu Jihad. Abu Jihad was a terrorist in the 70s and 80s, and they listed ones, all the terror attacks he was responsible for, with the numbers of killed, 125 Israelis. And there are 5 schools named after Abu Jihad. Salah Khalaf planned the Olympic massacre, killed 2 American diplomats in Sudan, and he's got 4 schools named after him. The most prominent terrorists who've killed the most significant people, the most significant terror attacks in history, they're the ones who Palestinian Authority is telling their children, these are your role models, these are your heroes.
نحييكم، نحيي المرابطات والمرابطين، نحيي كل ذرة دم أريقت في سبيل القدس، فهي دماء نظيفة، دماء نقية، دماء في سبيل الله إن شاء الله، وكل شهيد سيكون في الجنة، وكل جريح سيكتب له الله الثواب. هذا الأقصى لنا والقيامة لنا، كلها لنا، لا يحق لهم أن يدنسوها بأقدامهم القذرة، فلن نسمح لهم، وسنعمل كل ما نستطيع من أجل حماية القدس.
Talk about the culture. It comes from the top. Talk a little bit more about the indoctrination of young children. We know their schools are named after terrorists. Talk about how it's from the time they're 2 years old, from the time they can walk, they're indoctrinated in this glorification of terror and rampant anti-Semitism.
The glorification of terror is the last stage. What you have to have in the beginning is a demonization and anti-Semitism so that Jews and Israelis are worthy of the terror. We have children's programs that we've seen, unofficial Palestinian TV, owned and controlled by Mahmoud Abbas's people. We've heard children recite a poem that has the words, "They are the most evil among creations, barbaric monkeys and wretched pigs." They hear children, these sweet, beautiful children on TV, and you can't believe the words that's coming out of their mouths.
And you have the clips at Palestinian Media Watch. You've showed them little children.
That's right, little children.
يا بني صهيونة يا شر البرية يا قرودا همجية يا خنازيرا شقية.
الذل مكتوب عليكم والشقاء يا قرودا همجية يا خنازيرا شقية.
شر البرية يا قرود همزية.
أعداء الله أبناء الخنازير تصب النساء في الميادين. برافو زقفي.
We've had 7 children recite a poem in the last few years with the words, "Our enemy Zion is Satan." Is Satan with a tail? And you see these little kids and they're going, "Our enemy Zion is Satan with a tail." And you say,
Palestinian Authority endorsed.
Exactly.
عدونا صهيون شيطان له ذيل وأن عدونا صهيون شيطان له ذيل.
عدونا شيطانا صهيونا له ذيل.
وأن عدونا صهيون شيطان له ذيل.
وأن عدونا صهيون شيطان له ذيل. وعدونا صهيون شيطان له ذيل.
Absolutely stunning and disturbing, but that's what's being taught in places like Jenin right now under Palestinian Authority rule. For more clips like what you just saw, be sure to check out Palestinian Media Watch at palwatch.org. They are doing very important work exposing the truth about Mahmoud Abbas and the PA. Be sure also to remember those clips every time you hear Abbas or his officials issue a statement slandering Israel. Now, if you like my interview with Itamar Marcus and want to see more like it, be sure to tune in to the Watchman TV show on TBN every Thursday night, including tonight at 10 p.m. Eastern Time and Fridays at 6:30 p.m. Eastern. You can also become a Watchman Premium member for just $4.99 a month and see new episodes before they hit the air, along with exclusive behind-the-scenes commentary from yours truly. Just click Join on our homepage here at the YouTube channel to find out more. We will continue to follow developments on the Akleh case and bring them to you as we get them. Until tomorrow, thanks for joining us here on The Watchman. God bless you. And remember, never hold your peace. Hey everyone, thanks for checking out the Watchman Newscast. If you enjoyed this episode and want to see more, make sure you go ahead and hit the like button, click subscribe, and tap the bell icon to turn on notifications for new Watchman Newscast episodes every weekday.